This is the fourth video in the series on predictive control, which is part of the Control101 toolbox sequence. The toolbox then was released in 2023, and initially, while there was not a lot of videos and resources, these have gradually been added to in the past few years, and this video is to introduce some of the recent files which focus on constraint handling in model predictive control. Earlier videos then have looked at the foundations of MPC, prediction, tuning, noise rejection and the like. This video is going to focus on how you deal with constraints in predictive control. The reader is reminded, however, that the purpose is not to look at fine technical details and mathematics. You'll have to look elsewhere for those resources. How do you find the files then? So open the Control101 master file, go to the Predictive Control tab, and then you can see there's a button for MPC with constraint handling. Constraints then are basically something that happens on all real systems. Inputs have rate constraints. You can only change them so fast. The inputs themselves also have absolute limits, and you might have constraints on states, outputs, and other things as well. We need to ensure that the optimized predictions satisfy constraints, or they will not be implementable, and consequently they're not really optimal either. What does a typical MPC optimization look like then? Well, you end up with a quadratic program optimization, something like that shown in this box here. No, that's a specific example. They can vary depending on lots of different assumptions. A key thing to note is there's dependence on the past data and the target, and so the inequalities for constraint handling are time varying. Let's look at the app then, which has been designed to help you explore how constraints affect the behaviour of predictive control. You'll notice you can turn the constraints on and off with the buttons. There's different tabs to look at different information. And basically, it's probably easier to show all of this with a live demonstration. So let's bring the system in here. So what you'll notice is in this yellow box, we've got all the normal choices: prediction horizon, control horizon, weighting, T-filter, and so on. Now, I'm not going to play with those in this demonstration, but of course you can yourself. In the bottom, you'll see there's the constraints: input rates, absolute input, and output limits. You'll see the buttons, which if you press them and they go red, it means I'm ignoring this particular constraint. So you have a choice. Do you want to consider or ignore certain constraints? There's a few models to choose from, and you can add disturbances if you like. But let's just do a simulation and see what happens. Well, here's the simulation. You can see how predictive control's behaved, but you're saying, well, I still can't see any constraints. I don't know what's going on. So if you look at these three tabs, you'll see the third tab actually shows you the current constraints using these dotted lines. So you can determine, okay, how close were my responses to those constraints? And here you can see the constraints are in essence inactive. They're quite large. So let's go and reduce the input constraint. We'll make it 0.4 and run again. So what you see, the input has changed. That input constraint is now having an impact on your behavior. If you go to the current plots, you can see that. You can see that the input has saturated, or rather the rate has saturated at 0.4. Ideally, you wanted to go larger, but you're not allowed. What about absolute constraints on the inputs? Well, you can see the input settles at about 0.4, but I've set an absolute constraint at 1.5, which is much, much bigger than strictly necessary. So let's bring that absolute constraint down to about 0.5 and see if that changes the behavior. Yes, I've got that about right. So let's simulate again. And what can you see? Very, very different behavior from before. You can see this purple line. Let's go to the current plots. And what can you see? The input saturates at 0.5 and then comes down again. The rate saturates briefly as well. So what if you're saying, well, I can see all this. I've got plot 1, plot 2, plot 3, but I can't remember what I chose. That's what this middle tab is for. In the middle tab, it keeps records of all the different choices you've made, so you can go back and do systematic investigations and check up what's going on if needs be. Just out of interest, where it says U limit, that's inputs on the input, then the first bit is the rate and the second two numbers are the absolute. So we could add, for example, some output constraints, but they're not particularly going to be relevant here because you can see the overshoot is very small. I could switch off the input constraints altogether, or the absolute inputs, simulate again, and you see you get different behavior. So we'll leave it to the user to really go and explore, but hopefully it's clear what this app will facilitate. This short video then has introduced some of the resources recently added to the Control101 toolbox to support student learning and understanding of model predictive control. This video focuses on the core skill of constraint handling. And the app allows you to explore the impact of constraints on decision making and performance for some simple examples. Obviously, you need to go to the source code, which is available elsewhere in the toolbox if you want to do your own examples.